So the last question I want to ask you is, how do you meet the concept of social entrepreneur, all this theory of Mohammed Yunus, and how you adapt to your project? Because to be honest, I read the book of Mohammed Yunus, How to Start a Social Business, but I have certain questions in the process. I read it last year. About, for example, one of my biggest questions was if you can be able to accept aid money, for example, to grow your enterprise. And now, watching your videos, listening to your story in this interview, I learned, well, it's not a good idea. And if you can share a little bit more about it in your
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny how it started with the social business because I didn't know about Yunus and I didn't know about social business. When I started working on the biogas backpack, I said I developed the backpack as my master thesis, and I was sitting in my kitchen with one of my flatmates, and I talked to him about the business model that I want to design around the backpack, and then he said, "This already exists. It's called social business." What? How great! Because I'm not an economist, I would never be able to really develop this. But so this is how it started. I immediately bought the book that you
Mm.
just talked about, the social business by Professor Mohamed Yunus. And I was just so amazed and happy about this that it already existed. And then it was easy because it just all made sense to me. And I love Yunus for his quotes like, alms are the worst form of insult and the degradation of the poor, for example. Like, I mean, this is what he does. And the way I understand him is social business is an alternative to aid and has
Mhm.
nothing at all to do with aid and does not work with aid. A social business is a business that is run not for profit but for impact. Yeah, to solve a social problem, which you normally do as an entrepreneur, whatever problem it is. But um, it is not there to be supported by external funding or held alive by external funding. So the way I understand Yunus is that it has to be economically and financially independent. And that
Mhm.
means you don't depend on aid. Yeah. And this is also how Yunus developed his first social businesses. But I have to say, it is sad to see what happens with social business because it becomes more and more invaded by aid or however you want to call this, because most social business completely depend on external funding and are not at all businesses. They are social,
Mhm.
yes, they're NGOs or something, but they're not businesses. And there is, I think, the problem with social business, it has never been clearly defined what it is, and this company form has never been set as a like a legal um, form for a company. Yeah, and what is still making me optimistic that social business will actually spread is the movement of the economy for the common good, which is a growing movement here in Europe, especially Germany and Austria, actually. Um, that yeah, that thinks this whole social business idea a little bit further and clearly defines what you have to do as a company that wants to be certified as a company for the common good. Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's where Yunus has just done an awesome job to be a to create social business and create this idea of how to work more responsibly in this world. But as the energy, I can say, um, yeah, all of the social business aspects are fulfilled. There are 7 rules for social business, and I don't know if I'm overly strict with them, but I very strictly follow them. Yeah. Even investors don't get dividends, for example. This is something somebody has to accept.